Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our call for tonight. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box and I'll know you can hear me. And then we will get started right away. All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming hackathon, and then also we're going to talk about what to add to your PLR. Um, of course, if you have any questions in general about something that you're trying to do with your PLR content, please feel free to ask it. And even if I don't see your question right away, I will answer it at some point during this session. And I always try to get you out of here in 30 minutes, and that is my goal. So I don't even think we're going to go 30 minutes tonight. So uh, we will press ahead. And once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to just write them there in the box. Let's talk about what you want to add to your PLR. I am going to mention tonight that I am going to talk about Hackathon 2.0, and we're going to be starting that on Tuesday. And if you are an Ultimate Insider, of course, this course is going to be free to you. It's a new mastermind course that I'm going to be doing. It's a new format, and I'll tell you a little bit about it here at the end. And it's been closed up until tonight. I'm going to open it up at a, at a special price for the people who watch this training or watch this webinar. And once again, if you are an Ultimate Insider, you don't have to get it. You will already get it as part of your membership. Let's talk about what to add to your PLR, and let's talk about getting moving on your PLR. And the best thing that you can add to any course that you're going to be selling is going to be your personal experience and your success. And when I say success, I don't mean that you have to say, I made $1 million. You just really need to have progressed in something that you're trying to do. For example, if you're going to be doing some kind of course on Facebook, you're going to take some PLR. What you're really doing is wrapping it around success that you've had on PLR, had on Facebook. So think about what you've done. I mean, have you been able to generate leads? Have you been able to network? Have you been able to make sales? What have you been able to do on Facebook before you go and grab a PLR package on Facebook? Now, obviously, you're going to add, bonuses. You're going to add, information products to it. All those things are great, but if you really wanted to stand out, anytime you add your personal experience, something that you've done to what it is you're selling, that's going to give it an element of uniqueness that nobody else can match. And in fact, that's the one thing that some people will go and purchase because they want to know how you did something. And so what you'll end up doing is you'll put something in your bullets and say, watch how I generated 70 leads in 1 week. Well, for some people that might not be impressive, but for other people, they're going to come by your page and say, well, I'd like to know how this man, how this woman, they generated 70 leads on Facebook during the course of a week. And of course, all you've really done is you've taken the PLR package that you've given, and then you've added in a bullet point that talks about your personal experience and success that you've actually had. Now, I'm not saying that you always got to add it to the bullet points, but I think you understand what I'm saying. What can you bring to the table? What can you bring to an information product that you're really going to show people that's going to be something different than what they might get if they got some information from going to get it from YouTube? And so that's always going to be your personal opportunity to put something and make it available so that you will be able to make sales in that very same way. So here's what that means. I would ask you, and anytime that I've done an onboarding call, one of the first things I ask people, Ultimate Insiders, we do an onboarding call at the very beginning. I want to know what you're doing. And so if I know what you're doing, I want to know, for the most part, are you documenting it? Because if you're documenting right, and it doesn't matter right now if you're not having the success that you want to have. Let's say that what you're doing is you're putting Google Analytics on all of your sites, and you're setting up the you're setting up the success codes on all of your landing page. That's what you're doing right now. Maybe that's your project right now. Well, you should be documenting that. You should be documenting your experience. You should be documenting what you're running into, because when you get to the end, there are going to be things that you have learned that you can teach someone that nobody else can teach them. So whatever you are doing right at this moment, what are you doing right now in your business? So if I were to ask you that, and anybody can answer. I'm the only one who can see your answers. If I were to ask you, what project are you working on right at this moment? Write it in the question box. What are you working on right now? What's the thing that occupies your internet marketing time? So when you get on your computer, what's occupying your time beside being on Facebook, right? What are you doing? What is your current project? What are you wrestling with right now? Just write it in the question box. I'd just like to know, so that you want to be in the habit of saying, well, hey, here's what I'm doing. And so my question back to you is going to be, are you documenting what you're doing? It doesn't matter if you're hitting the wall. It really doesn't. What matters is that when you finally get to some level of success in whatever you're doing, that you're just going to take the documentation process, and whether you turn that into an information product in and of itself, it's going to be valuable information that you can add to anything that no one else can add. So whatever you're doing right now, whatever project you're working on, make sure that you're documenting right at this moment. What are you learning right now? So are you involved in some kind of information product? Are you doing some kind of learning project? Are you learning how to get traffic? What are you doing? If you're doing something right now, document it. You should be writing down what you're doing. If you are involved in some kind of coaching program, it doesn't matter whether or not you're doing the coaching program. That's not what's important. What's most important are the steps you take, and are you documenting? And sometimes it's not even going to be about the fact you're going to sell that information. Sometimes you need to be able to go back and you need to see what you did. So whatever you're learning right now, whatever you're reading right now, you should be documenting the process. Now, of course, I assume you're taking notes. Of course, I assume that you're taking what you're learning in the book and you're putting it down in some kind of notebook, whether that's electronic, whether or not it's paper. I assume you're doing that. But beyond that, though, you should be documenting what you're doing, the steps that you're taking. What are you implementing? Excuse me. Are you implementing something right now? Is it something that you've learned from someone that you have implemented? You should be documenting that process. So, and so you might say, well, but wouldn't that be taking somebody else's product? And wouldn't that be if I'm documenting their process? No, it would not. And in fact, one of the easiest ways to become an affiliate is for you to be able to document a process that you followed, and to go back and then to promote that same product to someone else, saying, here's how I did it. You can follow my method. It's the very method that I learned in this product. Again, a very easy way for you to be able to monetize some of the things that you're doing. So again, whatever you are implementing right now, based on something that you've learned, make sure you are documenting it. What are you experiencing? I know a number of people, every single day, they have problems. Today, I had a problem with um, a my network router, or my Ethernet connection was flashing some kind of message that said unidentified network. There's probably a solution to that. But what's most important is my documentation. And so what did I do? And it doesn't matter whether or not I solved the issue. What matters is the documentation process, because eventually I will figure out what it is. And whether I turn that entire process into an information product, it remains to be seen. I can put it on YouTube. I can make it a bonus. I can do any number of things. One of the best ways of creating good information that is going to be unique is always going to be to document what you are learning, documenting what you are implementing, documenting what you are experiencing. And if you think about it, this is always going to be something that you can take and add to any PLR offer that will make you stand out over and above anybody else. And truth be told, if you have an experience that you have documented, it's not that you're adding it to the PLR. What you're really doing is adding PLR to your experience. Does everybody understand the difference when I say that? If you understand what I just said, please put the number 2 in the question box if you understand that. So in other words, when you have something that you are doing, that you are experiencing, that you are learning, and you are creating information, it's not that you're adding that to PLR as a bonus. What you're doing is you're adding PLR to wrap around what it is that you're doing so that you give value to people. That's how you approach PLR. That's going to be different than most people are not going to be willing to do that kind of work. But most people are also not going to make many sales of the PLR that they have. All you really have to do in anything that you're doing is make sure that you're learning something new, documenting, implementing something new, documenting, experiencing something new, documenting it. What you then do is wrap the PLR around your learning, or you're implementing, and or your experience. Now, here's the other thing. It'll also determine what kind of PLR you should be purchasing. Some people buy the wrong kind of PLR. Now, if you're in business, typically you've got a pretty wide range of things you can buy, and you can still be right in the sweet spot. However, sometimes you might find something and you might think it's going to be interesting, but you don't always need to get everything that comes down in different subjects. Now, again, in our market, it's pretty easy to make sure you're getting the right thing because there are a number of people that produce business content. However, when you start getting off into some of these other subjects, I'm not saying that you don't need to buy it. What I am saying is you need to buy those things that help you to wrap around your experience so that you can sell to the audience you want to sell to. So the whole game with information products is figuring out who your audience is and selling to that audience. And that's what I would ask you. Who do you want to sell to? Right? Who do you want to be in your market? And you don't have to be exactly right, but you should have some idea. If you don't like dealing with the customers you're dealing with, it's gonna come out. If you don't like the general, I'd say the general nature of your customer, then you listen. Building a continuity program and selling information products and dealing with support, it's going to be a hassle to you. And when it gets to be a hassle to you, trust me on this, it'll come out in the way you answer support. It'll come out in the way that you deal with people. And you really do need to kind of want the kind of person that you really want to do business with. I used to kind of poo-poo this idea that, I used to think, well, a sale's a sale, man. As long as I can make a sale, I don't really care. Actually, you do. You really do need to kind of have some affinity towards some of the people that are going to be buying and that you resonate with. And you want to resonate right back to them. So who do you want to sell your products to? This is a very important point to make. If you want to operate in the JVZoo Warrior Plus market, you can, but the world is bigger. There's a much bigger world of people who want to learn how to market their business on the internet than our market. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with our market. You just need to understand it's a very small market. It's a very small sliver. It's a very small aspect of people who want to learn how to build a business online. You do not have to sell to this market. This is a market that buys information products and typically sells to other internet marketers. And again, that is a very special, small market of people that buy information products to teach them the online business. Now, here's the thing. And if you're saying, well, if I don't sell to these people, how am I going to find the people that I am going to sell business related products to? Who am I going to sell to? How am I going to find them? How are they going to get to my sales page? If I don't use the affiliate method, and again, it's a very efficient way of getting customers. In other words, you launch a product, you get affiliates to promote you, and then they bring people to your sales page. You produce another information product. That's a very efficient way of being able to get traffic. It's just not the only way. And the only thing that I would say about that is that you don't want to build your business and be dependent on the affiliates. You want to be dependent on yourself, and you want to be dependent on the network you build. Now, here's the thing. In order to build an audience, you've got to attract people, right? So that's what you and I are trying to do. We're trying to build an audience, but what you got to do is you got to attract the right people. When I say attract them, what I mean is that when you want to resonate, you want people to buy from you ultimately that you resonate with, that they resonate with you, that you get them, they sort of get you. You have a general idea of who they are just based on the fact that they respond to your sales message. Now, there are a number of ways that you can do that. I mean, you can do that in your copy, you can do that in your email marketing. There are a lot of ways that you can do that. Now, I'm not saying that there's one way to attract the right person or attract the person that you're going to like, that's going to like you. But it's an important thing and something you got to get good at, in your online business. But you've got to attract people. And so if you're going to attract, again, I'm not talking about necessarily the affiliate process. You will keep the right customers, even though you may not attract the right customers using an affiliate model. Here's if in order to attract the people, you have to appear to them. So you've got to show up to them. Well, they've got to see you. They've got to hear your voice. They've got to look at you, and they've got to understand you, and they've got to read your emails. They've got to hear from you before you can attract them. So it's going to take time to attract the right people and to get them into your marketing funnel, but you have to appear to them. That means you've got to be visible. How are you going to be visible? Now, again, we're talking about, well, how do I attract these people? How do I become visible to them? The easiest way to appear is to position yourself as an educator. That means that you go into the market, the sub-market, the sub-niche, and you decide that you're going to be a reliable source of information, that you are going to teach. And it doesn't mean that you've got to be the person that knows the most. Doesn't mean that you're going to be the person that is the first person that was there. You're not always going to be that person. What you can be is you can be the most reliable. What I tend to find is that anything that you do every week, most people will tire out, but I'd give them 4 months to 5 months. Promise you this. If you go into your sub market, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, if you will just start to do a training on a weekly basis, everybody who you consider to be or who considers themselves to be your competition, they will tire out. Most people are not willing to do that level of work if you will just do that level of work. So again, in order to attract people, you've got to appear. In order to appear, you position yourself as an educator. The easiest way to position yourself as an educator is to do a free weekly training, make an offer, and ask people to join your list. That's the easiest way to do it. So there are a lot of effective ways. Now, again, I'm not saying this is the only way you can do it, but what have I said so far that's not doable? I've said you got to appear to people. You've got to decide you're going to be an educator, not the expert. Again, I'm very careful with that language. I'm not saying go in and position yourself as the expert. That comes. And really, that's something somebody else says about you, not what you say about yourself. You can prove yourself to be an expert by becoming an educator first. Go into your sub-market and educate. Educate minimum once weekly. If you do a free weekly training, at every weekly training, you make an offer and ask people to join your list, and you keep doing that. You do it every single week. You don't skip. You don't, whoever you think, the longer you do that, the longer you do it, the more you will find that you will begin to just attract certain people who like the way you say it. They like you. They like and resonate with you. That is the idea. I was talking with an Ultimate Insider this week, and basically my expression to this insider was, part of your training really is you want people to fall in love with you. That's the idea. You come back every single week. You show a different side of something that you know. You show a different side of yourself. You're reaching out through the computer screen to the person that's going to become part of your audience and stick. That's what you're trying to do. Now, as this group of people that's attending that free weekly workshop grows, that's your audience. That's who your audience is. So you're trying to figure out, well, what's this? What do they mean by an audience? It's the people that are opening up your emails and coming to your training and watching your replays. They're also the people that are going to be, now, your audience may or may not buy the stuff you tell them to sell, right? That could take some time to do, and it could take you time to build up trust. But now, one of the things you want to do at every workshop, right? You want to make sure you make an offer at every workshop. Why? Because it's not a charity. And you don't want people to get to the point where they think, well, this person, they're just here to teach me and they're here to make sure I'm, what a nice woman, what a nice guy. That's not what you want, right? You want them to say nice person, but you want them to know that one of the reasons you're in this is because you're here to make money. You're here to teach, you're here to help people, but you're not here to help them for free. And even if you were to help them for free, you're not doing them very much good if all you're doing is helping them for free, right? So again, people that are listening to you, people that are coming to that weekly training, the people that you're making an offer to every single week, that's your audience. That's what an audience is. How do you get traffic to that? How do you get traffic to your workshop? You bait them with regular, consistent content. In the make money online market, your content is your product launch, right? They need to be regular. If you're going to be inside of a niche, you got to do something like a blog or podcast. Got to be regular, right? And in a more sponsored sense, you can do a YouTube channel. But you know what the best YouTube channels do? They're consistent with their content. I was talking with an Ultimate Insider. I think it was in an onboarding call, and the gentleman has something like, I think something like 8,000 subscribers. And I said, well, what'd you do? And he said, well, I was just consistent with my content. I was just consistently talking about these issues, and people and it just grew over time. And listen, you're never going to be able to figure out and outsmart these algorithms. So stop trying. Right? Again, I'm all for reading books. I think Daryl Eves has a great book. I think Brian Johnson have a course of his. He's got a good course. Let's see, Gary Baker. He's got a good YouTube course. So yeah, there are lots of people that have good YouTube courses. But what you've got to do is you have to decide, okay, you know what? You just got to be regular, regardless of who you follow, regardless of what methodology you use. You are going to have to be regular. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., your video should be released, whenever it is, right? That's what you're going to be doing. Okay, so I do want to just briefly mention that we are going to be doing the PLR Hackathon. Once again, I want to say that if you're an Ultimate Insider, this course is going to be part of your membership. So if you're an Ultimate Insider, you will get this. But for everyone else, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open this up for the. I'm going to open this up, and I'll just kind of show you here. You've probably seen this page, but basically, right now I'm still putting the course together, right? And so, but there is a course in here already. So, for example, when you go in, you're going to get online workshop, playbook, and you'll also get the advanced version. Now, that's those are there because that's what I'm going to be using as my example in the hackathon. So we're going to work with these properties. Now, I expect this to go 4 weeks. It might go longer. Full disclosure. So it might not end in 4 weeks. The minimum is going to be for 4 weeks because that's the minimum it's going to take for me to take you through the technical process of rebranding this entire package and getting it ready for sale. So that's really what the hackathon is. It's also designed for you to be able to come to a space that I'm going to be setting up inside of our our community, so that you will have a place to ask questions. Right? Let me open this up over here. I don't know if I've set it up here yet, but And that's part of the reason why I'm just going to kind of open this hackathon up. It's going to be kind of cheap right now, and at least until Tuesday. Once it goes Tuesday, this is going to go to, I think it's going to go to $27 or $37. But basically, there will be a space here for the course, right? You'll be able to participate, and basically, the reason I'm setting this up is so that I can interact with you, right? I can help you. And so I will check in here on a daily basis to see what your questions are. And if there are no questions, that's great, because that means I'm doing a great job of teaching. What you can also do though is network and interact with your peers here. And so that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be the first mastermind course, and I'm going to open up a discussion area for you for this particular course. And so that's why it's going to be priced a little differently. Right now, I'm not finished with the sales letter. I'm not finished putting everything together. So I'm going to go ahead and just discount it to $17 until I think Tuesday. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up to the right price, which I think is going to be $37, and then $27 inside of our product launches. Right, so I think that's what we're going to be doing. Maybe 47 and then 27 inside of the product launch. I think that's what it's going to be. I think the regular price is going to be 47 after Tuesday. So if you want to get in now, again, it's not, everything's not ready. What you can do is you can go in here, you can sign up for the webinar, right? You can click there and sign up for the live session. And all the courses are going to be, it's all going to be recorded. And then also, of course, I am going to give you resale rights when it's over, right? So I've got to edit it. I'm going to give you resale rights to the entire package when it's over. So you get the PLR, you get the discussion area, you get the and then you get resale rights to the entire course. Now, the discussion area is only going to last until the live sessions are over. Once the live sessions are over, I'm going to close up that discussion area, right? So there will be no discussion area after that. But during the sessions, right, I'm happy to be there to answer your questions. I will drop in every day to see what questions are asked, and of course, you can always ask questions of your peers. And once again, if you are an Ultimate Insider, you will get that course. So you can get, and so if you are not signed up as an Ultimate Insider, you can always be signed up at theplrshow.com/insiders. Okay, so let me see if there are any questions. Okay, Janice, starts on Tuesday. It starts on Tuesday. And let's see, what was the link again? The link is, let's see, yeah, and I will put that in the, let me put that in the chat box here. All right. All right. Yep. Okay. So let me see what questions. Okay. So Jim, so what the hackathon is going to do is I'm going to be walking through the setup process and the rebrand process for a PLR package. And I'm going to give resale right. And again, now you're an Ultimate Insider, so it's going to be free to you, Jim. So yes, you will get that free to you as an Ultimate Insider. So I will add this. I'll probably add this to you sometime around Monday, right? Okay, and let's see. Just a question here. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah. So yeah, Jim. Yeah, you should. If you're doing a workshop, and you really should make an offer at every workshop, right? Every time you train for free, you make an offer. And I practice what I preach. I mean, this is the way I'm doing it right now is obviously the way I think you should do it. I don't think that a training is a hard sell. So if somebody doesn't buy based on the training, I'm not hurt by that, because this is not a sales presentation. Now, if I want to do a sales presentation and I want to do a pitch, then I'll do a pitch. This is not that. So anytime you do a but at the same time, when you're doing a training, you gotta make an offer. And so you do the weekly workshop, you do the workshop every week. At the end of it, you make an offer. It doesn't have to be, dramatic. It should just be an offer, right? It doesn't even always even have to be directly related to what you talked about. It could be, but it doesn't have to be, because again, the point of your training is to make sure you're taking care of them. Okay, and so Jim's question is, for the weekly workshop, where do you attract the people that are not already on your list? You should be doing some kind of regular content. So it can be a podcast, it can be a YouTube video, it can be um, a blog, right? And obviously your social media. Now, if you don't if you want to leapfrog that process, obviously you can do things like solo ads. I'm not a big proponent of that, and this is where, if you're in the make money online market, you're just going to have affiliates bring you the traffic. But once again, if you don't if you excuse me, if you're dependent on affiliates, then the business is out of your hands. So again, what I want people to do is to think broader and to have your own audience, so that the affiliate becomes kind of gravy, and the work you're doing is really to build your audience, right? But that's a great question. Let's see. Okay, so Ann's question is, what is a submarket? A submarket is where you're going to break down the information market that you're going to go into. So if you're going to decide, let's say you decide you're going to talk to seniors. Well, I think that seniors is too broad. And so what kind of seniors do you want to focus on? Maybe you want to focus on seniors who are in RVs, right? Maybe you want to focus on seniors who are in RVs who are in Arizona, right? Whatever it is, a sub niche kind of says, I'm not going to go for the broad market. I'm going to try to break down, and you can do this you can kind of do this based on keywords. Although I think that the most effective way to do it is to start teaching and to see who you attract, right? See what kind of offers work, and then determine your sub-market from there. It's kind of hard to determine what your sub-market is until people are buying things. When people start buying specific things, you have a better idea. So what I suggest you do is you kind of go broad. You start teaching, you start doing a weekly workshop, but then you're going to start noticing some products get bought, other products don't. You're going to start noticing some people are commenting and talking to you, some people are not. And so when that happens, what you want to happen is you want to say, well, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus and niche down, right? I'm going to niche down based on what they're buying, right? Does that answer your question, Ann? Yeah, Jim, I said seniors in an RV. So you now that and these days that's pretty broad too. There are a lot of people in the seniors, right, talking to seniors in RVs. That's just an example, right? So you want to find a market. Personally, you know, one thing I would experiment with is your local area. That's not for everybody, but I would experiment by seeing you can find a local audience, right? So if you can find a local audience, you can use meetup.com, you can use Eventbrite. You can find a local audience, right? Sometimes you can get a niche you can get a niche that you might not be able to get otherwise. Right. You want to drill down. Yeah. Slipstream or Winnebagos. Yeah, either one, right? So, but you really have to get inside. So let's say you decide weight loss, right? Well, you don't want to just do weight loss. You sort of want to maybe you want to do low carb, but you don't want to just do low carb. You have to do keto. Well, keto is super saturated. You're probably going to have to break down. Maybe, women over 50 keto, something like that. So yeah, you gotta really try to drill down and see if you can reach, that person, right? All right, any other questions? Okay, yeah, so Rick is asking about Ultimate Insider. So Ultimate Insider is basically you're getting one full funnel every month. You're getting all of our you get if I do something like a mastermind course, well, you're going to get that. Um, all of my other products that, let's say, you don't have, that um, are not any other product that I do other than the insider selection is going to be 50% off the original cost. So for example, our chat GPT product right now is $37 on our site. However, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you would get it at 50% off the original launch price, which was $7. That means you'd pay 50% of that $7 you get for $3.50. So basically, it's a way to get you get anything that we've done at a pretty good rate. You also we also have a platform that you can use. We have a sub account for Go High Level that you can use in order to sell your courses, right? Now, right now, what I will say, Rick, is for the next 8 months, I'm going to be producing the New Marketer Workshop. And what I have been doing is I'm actually giving that to the Ultimate Insiders as a bonus. So whereas everybody else is going to have to pay for that course when I release them, I'm going to release those once a month, I'm going to be giving that as a bonus selection. So the Ultimate Insiders will get their regular selection. They will also get the New Marketer Workshop course for that month. So for example, if a person was Ultimate Insider in April, I think they got AI design tools, right, which I did at the beginning of the month. And they also, here at the end of the month, they just got volume 3 of New Marketer Workshop. So yeah, so there's quite a bit. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Okay, so Jessica's saying, how do you document effectively? What you want to do is, there are two ways to do it. One way to do it is you can just record a if uh, if you're like a camera person, or if you like YouTube, I just do a short. Hey, here's what I did today. And just record the steps you followed today. Record the things you did. You record those things that you actually did, and you keep doing that on an everyday basis. You take the transcript, right? You can take the transcript and you can just store the transcript, put it in Microsoft Word. Day one, did these steps. Day one, I contacted these 10 people. Day two, I, got my membership software. So basically, that's what you want to do. Okay, yeah, George, for the Ultimate Insiders, the hackathon is free. So yes, so you would not be paying for the hackathon. So I'm going to add it to the Ultimate Insider. So yep, right on. Okay, does that help you, Jessica? Okay, great, thank you. All right, any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for hanging out with me here. I appreciate you all. You could have done anything else on a Saturday night, but you spent it with me. I appreciate it. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.